What's up guys, Kirk here and welcome back to the Geek Effect. In today's video, I have another Marvel Legends review for you all, and I'm really looking forward to this one because it's the first ever 2-pack I'm reviewing here on the channel, and the pack in particular is one I've been wanting to review for quite some time and getting unboxed. I've made mention of this like a dozen times in regards to streams and videos and just anything else that I've been talking about when it comes to this, and that pack is the Deadpool 2 2-pack featuring Deadpool himself and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. So with that being said, let's go ahead, bust out the chimichangas, bring out the maximum effort, and get this thing unboxed. So here we are front and center with the Deadpool 2-pack, and as always, we're going to start with the packaging, which I think looks very cool. It does change up with the whole color scheme that we're used to getting with Marvel Legends, because rather than the standard black sort of box at the front and everything like that, we do get a whole new color scheme, which is meant to look like Deadpool with the red and the black and the white, which looks very cool. You even have the Marvel Legends series logo at the top and some other text and stuff at the bottom, like the crossed out names of the characters, which crossed out right there, we have Wade Wilson, and crossed out there, we have Ellie Phimister, I think is how you pronounce it. But of course, Wade Wilson is Deadpool, and then Ellie is Negasonic Teenage Warhead. So you can tell that this was definitely done by Deadpool. He had something to do with this for sure. You even have his logo at the front right there, covering the X-Men logo, which is kind of funny. And then when you flip this over to the side, you can see the artwork for Negasonic, and then you can also see the artwork for Deadpool. And then flipping it to the back, you even have the same images at the back with Ellie and then Deadpool as well, which looks cool. But getting that over to the side, let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed and take a look at the figures. So here we have Deadpool and Negasonic out of the pack, and they look very cool, especially the Deadpool figure because it just has a great amount of detail and texture going on from what I can see, and for this to be a Legends figure, it leaves me very impressed. Even Negasonic herself, although the design of the suit is very simple and doesn't have a lot going on for it, you can still see a lot of detail going there for the suit in terms of making it as accurate as possible to what's seen in Deadpool 2, same thing going for Deadpool as well. So I really do like how these figures turned out, but let's go ahead and get a closer look at these figures, starting with the Deadpool figure. Here we are up close to the Merc with the mouth Deadpool himself, and for starters, I love how the head sculpt turned out. I think that it's very accurate to Deadpool and the look from the movies. I think that Marvel Legends did a good job nailing the details and stuff of it with the texture, the look and shaping of the mask, or the head in general just looks fantastic. You can even see things like the pointed tip at the back of his mask. You can see all the textures there, which look very nice overall, and then you can even see the shaping of the eyes and how it kind of hangs over a bit to add that extra bit of depth. Does look very good as well, in my opinion. Like, I have no complaints with how the head sculpt turned out, and I just love it in general. Now, when it comes to something that I would kind of wish this figure had, it would definitely be an additional head sculpt for this character, just because of the fact that Deadpool is known to have a lot of sort of quirky, I guess, sort of expressions and stuff, especially with the eyes, since that is like the only thing that's sort of like visible in terms of expression. You can't really see a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to his mouth, unless his mask is like lifted up partially. But that would have been good to have, especially just to add a bit more variation and style to this character, but nonetheless, it still is a good head sculpt to have with the figure just to kind of convey the look and everything like that. Moving on down towards the torso area though, you get to see a bunch more detail, and it's just amazing here on out where you can see all the details like the stitching, the texture, the dent and stuff, the pattern or sort of pads of the outfit. It looks very good in my opinion, especially at the front, and then you can even see more of it a bit at the back. It does kind of get covered up by the sheath or the katana holder, unfortunately, but you can see it there a bit on the sides, and if you kind of arch them over a bit, you can see a bit more of it as well, and you can see all the same textures and stuff going on for his arms, the shoulders, the biceps, the forearms. Looks very good. Even the hands and everything in terms of the padding and stuff design on there, that looks good. and you can see that they try to nail it as best possible in terms of capturing the look, and looks pretty good. As for the harness or the belt sort of thing that Deadpool is wearing, it does look pretty good. It looks detailed. You can see the buckle has the Deadpool logo there. You can see the pockets and everything for the belt, which do look pretty nice. They have a bit of sculpting going on there. Some paint apps of like silver for the flap, sort of a buckle or whatever that's holding it together. Like, those details look pretty nice. Some of it is missing on other parts, but they did add it on some parts, which I'm not sure why, but I mean, nonetheless, it does still look good. And you can even see some more silver applications on the buckle for the strap part of his belt at the top. It goes over the shoulder, looks pretty solid. And that's about it for the belt area. But when you move down, you do get to see a bit more detail and stuff, especially with the knee pads, the straps that hold the other pockets, even the straps that hold the pistols that he has. He has one here and he has one here as well, which these unfortunately are not removable. I found that out. You can probably remove them, I think, if you use like hot water or something like that, I heard, but I just didn't do that for this video. So unfortunately, they are going to be stuck in here for right now. But all the details and stuff on the legs, and especially moving down towards the feet and stuff, do look pretty good. Here we have Negasonic Teenage Warhead up close, and to be honest, I don't think there's a whole lot going on here to really like discuss, but at the same time, it is still a good figure to have with Deadpool, especially seeing, you know, their whole interaction with one another in Deadpool 2 and Deadpool 1, of course. And, you know, in general, it's just a nice companion figure to have. But for the details and everything, I do think that it looks alright. The head sculpt for sure is pretty accurate in my opinion to the actress who plays the character, whose name is I think Brianna something. I don't know the last name, but it is a nice looking head sculpt. I do think it looks pretty accurate to her. You can even see all the details with the head and how the hair is. It does look very detailed in terms of all the waviness and curls, and then the flat portions of the head on the sides, right and left, looks pretty good. You can even see the earring that she has from the movie that has that long, sharp sort of look to it in silver. Looks nice. You can even see all the details and stuff like that on the face with the makeup and stuff like that. Turned out pretty well. And even the skin tone for the face and the hands is pretty good in my opinion. Like, I have no complaints there. As for her suit, it does look good. I mean, like, in terms of details and stuff like that, like, you can see all of the texture that's going on for the yellow areas of the suit, especially the top part, and then even the shoulder pads and stuff like that in silver. The paint apps on that look pretty nice, and it does look accurate to her attire from the movie. You can even see the yellow sort of pads on the gloves with the fingers exposed. Looks good. Some more texture on the forearm area, a bit of more texture on the bicep area where there is no bicep swivel because, you know, this is a single jointed elbow type figure, so unfortunately there's none of that stuff going on there, but it does look good for what it's worth. And you can even see some more detail on the belt buckle with the spiky details in silver. Looks pretty good. And some more details of her suit going from the hip area down to the thigh, kind of stopping right there. And that's about it. There's not a whole lot left to talk about, but in the end, still a good figure to have with Deadpool. When it comes to accessories, this pack actually comes with quite a bit of stuff, and it's mostly in regards to Deadpool, but Negasonic does come with a little bit of stuff to work with, which is also nice. Starting with Deadpool though, we do get some hand accessories, which is actually quite a few. First off, we get a waving sort of hand, which looks pretty nice. This is actually the reverse version of the hand that already comes on him when you take the figure out of the box. So you do get that reverse version of that, and then you also get a reverse version of the fist that he comes with when he's taken out of the box as well. Both of these hands are actually the look from the first Deadpool movie instead of the second one, so that is nice to have that inclusion here, and you can tell that it's the first Deadpool movie because in the second one, that's when they gave him the sort of a silver padding on the hands or the gloves, and then in the first Deadpool movie, he does not have that. It's just all black, which is cool to have this included there. But moving past that, we do get an additional set of hands. These are made to hold the pistols that he comes with, which we can see right here. Not the ones that are in the holsters, unfortunately, because like I said, those are not meant to come out. You can try and get them out, but they're not designed that way to easily come out when you take the figure out of the packaging. But these are made for the pistols, and as you can see, you can just take them and slide them on through here, and then the finger goes through the grip as usual. And there you go. Looks very nice, and you can put that on the figure and you can create some nice looking poses and stuff like that. And same goes for the other hand. You have the other set of hands for Deadpool, which are meant to hold the katanas that he comes with, which are his other sort of accessory that he has, which goes in the holster or the katana sheath on his back. But these are made to hold that, and they do have a pretty nice grip once you fit them in there like so, and you can see how that looks. And of course, put them inside the sockets on his forearms and you're good to go. Have him create some nice poses and stuff like that, which will definitely be a lot of fun. And the same thing goes for the other hand and the other katana, and they both fit in there easily. It's not like it's designed to only go on one hand because they're both the same exact mold, so no issues there. Next up, you also get this cool knife. I think this is a Bowie knife. I might be wrong, but it is a cool knife to have with the figure, and it does have a nice mold. The plastic or the material is a bit soft, so there is a bit of flex to it. It's not as flexible though as the katana blade. This one is very soft, but this one does have a bit of a hardness to it, which I kind of wish that was the case for the katanas, but in the end, I mean, they still do look good. And this one can actually slide into the sheath that's on his ankle. You just put that in there and it has a nice grip, and he can have the knife on his ankle, which is very cool. So that is a nice accessory to have with the figure. And then last but not least, Deadpool also comes with his friendly little unicorn, which is a very funny accessory to have. But if you've seen the movie, then you understand like where it's coming from. It's in Deadpool too, but it's a cool accessory to have here. I didn't expect him to go with that, but it's nice nonetheless to have him. Just have some silly looking poses with him. As for Negasonic Teenage Warhead though, she does come with 2 additional hands. These are just the reverse versions of the hands that she already comes with on the figure. So you have that waving sort of looking hand, similar to Deadpool's, and then you have the fisted hand. They both have those yellow paddings on them, and you basically can just like alternate between them. You can either put the same type of hand on each of the sockets or, you know, switch it up a bit, which is always great. And you also have the return of the Power Blast effect pieces that we took a look at in the Retro Doctor Doom video, which I do like these. They have a soft plastic material to them, and they simply just wrap around the arm just to show some cool, power effects of her mutant abilities, which is very nice. So overall, the accessories in this pack are very solid, and you would definitely have a lot of fun with these, especially if you're looking to have them on display and just create some cool photos and stuff, action sequences. When it comes to the articulation for these figures, things are looking pretty good, especially for Deadpool, because he has a great bit of range of motion going on in the elbows and the other parts of like the legs, stuff like that. All around, this figure has some fun articulation. He does have some head tilt going back. You can tilt it back as far as that, tilt it inward, and then of course get some nice head tilts and stuff like that due to that articulation. So it looks pretty fun, and of course you can always rotate that 360 degrees, have a bit of exorcist action going on for the head, which is fitting for Deadpool's wacky and unsettling sort of nature and his behavior, especially that we get to see in the movies. So that is a lot of fun. As for the shoulder area, you do have butterfly joints there, which do give this figure a bit more motion in terms of the arms. You can arch them outward and then arch them inwards, which is nice. You even have the shoulder joint right there to raise the arm up. Same thing going for the other arm. Bicep swivel as usual, and then the double jointed elbow, which allow you to get the arms in as far as that. And then with the butterfly joint, that does let you get a nice little bit of a posing if you want to have him like kind of holding his mouth or something like that. Like you can do that as if he's gasping. Looks pretty cool. And then of course you have the rotation in the wrist, and then with this particular hand you can tilt it outward like that and then tilt it inward like that, which is good. Same thing goes for the other arm as well. When you move to the ab crunch, he does have a good bit of it going inward, especially. You can tilt him in as far as that, and then you can also tilt him back as far as this. I wouldn't push it too much though, because the soft plastic material will bend for the sheaths for his katana, so it kind of is meant to stop right here, but you still can kind of push it. Just be careful and do it at your own risk. And then when it comes to the waist, you can rotate that 360 degrees, which is always good to get some nice turns and stuff when you're posing the figure. And then you can get the legs to go up as far as that and back as far as that, and then off to the side. It kind of stops though because of the pistols in the holsters. Same thing going for the other leg, but it does have a good, decent bit of articulation there. You also have some thigh swivel in each of the thighs, which is good just to make sure you can kind of rotate it a bit more. And then you even have the double jointed knees, and then the ankles have some articulation there with the tilting backward, tilting inward, and then side to side thanks to those ankle rockers. Same thing going for the other leg. Setting the disjointed looking Deadpool to the side though, we have the articulation for Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and hers is a bit limited, to be honest. You do have the head tilt, which does allow the head to go kind of back as far as that. Not sure why you would really want to do that. Maybe if she was like leaping or something, I guess. I'm not sure if she can fly. I don't know if that's the thing. If she can, then I guess it kind of works for that as well. But you also can tilt the head back inward as far as that. So she does have a great bit of motion in regards to the head joint, which is always good. You can rotate the arms 360 degrees and then of course raise them up as far as that. There's no bicep swivel or anything there because this is meant to just be a single joint arm. So you do have the single jointed elbow, which means the arm kind of stops right there. Lately with the female figures, they've been allowing, to introduce the double jointed elbows more, which I'm glad that they're doing that just so that we can get some extra motion in the figures, which is always good to have when wanting to pose it and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to see more of that in the future and having it become more common. But we also have the wrist swivel as well, and then it can tilt outward and then inward as well, which is always good. As for the ab area near that ab crunch, you can kind of tilt it, but it's not much of a tilt to really be had. And then you can kind of tilt it backward a little bit, but again, not much tilt to be had there for the figure, but you can rotate it 360 degrees and there's no waist swivel or anything like that. It's just one mold, two different sections going on there. You can raise the legs as far as this, and then you can stop it kind of like right there because it does get obstructed from moving any further, but you can kind of kick it out to the side if you want. Same thing for the other leg. And then thigh swivel, of course, on that leg. Same on this. Some double jointed knee action going on there. And then, of course, some more toe tilting backward, inward. And then you can also have the ankle rocker. And there's actually some calf swivel going on here too, which is also nice. Just a extra bit of motion going on for the figure. When it comes to how these figures scale with other Marvel Legends figures, I do have 3 that I picked out to go side by side with and see how they look, starting with the retro card Dazzler from the retro card X-Men line. And as we can see right here, she's pretty much the exact same height of the Deadpool figure, but is slightly taller than Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Especially when you look at these characters from the side, you can see the height difference. Basically the same height as Deadpool and then slightly taller than Negasonic. Next up, we have the 80 Years Punisher, which does look very nice, especially next to Deadpool in terms of like the coloring and everything like that. Like, although these are movie characters and this is a comic book style character, it still kind of fits with them, surprisingly. You can see that he is pretty much the exact same height as Deadpool once again, and then of course taller than Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Moving Punisher to the side though, we have the final figure, which is going to be the Thing. I wanted to get a bulky sort of character, and this is the only one I have at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't have a Colossus figure or a Juggernaut figure, seeing how he was in Deadpool 2, which that would have been great to have a Juggernaut figure. Maybe one day I'll try and pick one up, but you can see how they look. Of course, Thing is a bigger character, slightly taller, so he's gonna, tower a little bit over Deadpool and then also, of course, over Negasonic Teenage Warhead. But that's at the scale for these characters. You can see it from the side and then from the back as well. And then once again from the front. So they look pretty good together. Well, that pretty much wraps up this review for the Deadpool 2-pack, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed these figures a lot, and in terms of all the detail and everything that it has, there's a lot of it here, and it's definitely a great pickup if you guys like Deadpool, if you guys love the Ryan Reynolds movies from Fox. Like, I would recommend picking up these figures, especially for the Deadpool figure itself. Like, there's a lot of detail with this guy, a lot of accessories, and even with Negasonic, like, although it may not have a whole bunch of stuff going on for her character and for the figure, it's still a nice figure to have as a companion to Deadpool. I know there are actually some other characters that they released for Deadpool 2, like the Zazie Beetz version of Domino and the Josh Brolin version of Cable, which I actually was able to pick up Domino from Best Buy a while back on sale, so that will be reviewed eventually. Cable is the only one that I'm still looking for to get at some point, and then maybe the Deadpool exclusive from Amazon that has the ash covered version of the suit. That's featured in the sort of start of the movie and stuff like that. So We'll see what happens with that. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this review. Be sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more action figure reviews in the future. I'm gonna slowly be trying to get back to the weekly schedule that I intended to kind of work with here on the channel, but we will see what happens. I hope you all enjoyed the rest of your day, and I'll catch you all later. Peace out.